Live from Dunamis Church. This is Today at Dunamis. Welcome to the global war. Friends, well, get ready to open your third eye. We will be delivering the truth to you on today's episode. Let's welcome our host, Shaun ED.
Here we are today to talk life at Dunamis.
Hello, Shaun. Hello, fellow truth seeker. Hello. You're welcome to enter the global war, fellow patriot. How are you?
Hello.
Hey, Erica. Erica's back. Hey.
Nice to have you with us, Erica. Thank you for coming. Nice to have you from
Oklahoma.
originally Oklahoma via Reading here to Australia.
Yeah, Australia.
So, Ed, since we got together last week,
Yes.
a few things have happened.
Yes.
And thus, it would also be the reason of our theme for today's program.
Yes, a very fun theme, a non-controversial episode, very just, easy to breezy, nice and simple episode, not going into anything too crazy, too deep.
I love that one. A
Yes.
non-controversial subject.
Yes.
Non-controversy subject, okay? Which is great.
Yes.
So since we met last, because we met on Wednesday.
Yes.
But that was only on a Tuesday in the United States.
Yes.
But since then, we now have President Joe Biden.
Yes.
Who is president.
He was president now.
Number?
48. 48?
46.
I was close.
It's okay. You're Australian. What do we expect?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, of course. We don't number our prime ministers.
No, we don't, eh?
No, I don't. I wonder how many it'd be. Probably 110. They don't even last the time.
Yeah, they don't even last very
Kevin
long.
Rudd, Julie Gillard, Kevin Rudd.
Yeah, Kevin Rudd.
Tony Abbott. So
Yeah,
they don't last
eh?
long, do they?
Yeah.
But anyhow, the United States has a new president, number
Yes.
46.
Yes.
President Joe Biden. And I think one of the things that he said that I was taking note of his speech was there was a call for unity.
Yes, a call for unity.
Whether it be red or blue, they are to come together and be unified.
Yeah, we all bleed the same color.
We're all coming together. And then after that was, and so let's now impeach number 45.
Yeah, let's impeach him. Yeah.
Even though he's not the president, we will impeach him.
Impeach him. Yes.
Why?
I don't know.
So he can't run again.
Can't run again.
Yes. So it's not about necessarily the other thing. So we stop him running again.
Yeah, it's not to stop justice or to bring him to justice. It's just
So 2024, we will stop him running.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even know if he would run again, but
I mean, can he even run? I mean, he's getting a
Yes.
little old. No, I mean like
but
physically.
but he would be no older than Joe Biden.
No, I mean physically. Could he actually do it? Maybe a light sprint?
Well, Joe Biden was doing little runs across the field, here, which is very good. It's gonna. Joe Biden becoming president.
Yes.
Reminded me of what happened in this nation in Kevin 07.
Yeah, Kevin 07. Let's go.
Because it was just before Kevin 07, the
Yep.
elections before. So what would that be, like 2004?
14? Oh, yeah, 4. Yep.
Kevin 07, 2004.
Yes.
Not 14, son.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
So where John Howard won
John
again.
Howard, that's it. Yep.
And I know that the Labor Party was very, very upset.
Yes.
Now, I don't know if you know that the Australian Labor Party and the American Democrats are best friends.
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, no, they actually trade workers
Oh, okay.
in elections.
Yes.
So when the Australian elections are going, the Democrats send their workers over here.
Yes.
And with them, we send Australians. They send Australian Labor Party sends workers over there. Now, the coalition does a little bit, but nothing compared to that. They even share apps or software, the particular software they share to help each other out.
Yeah.
So I was back after the loss of the Labor Party. They couldn't beat, I think it was Simon Crean, I don't know who it was, couldn't beat John Howard.
Yeah.
And the Labor Party here were pretty upset. I was a part of what they call the APMF. You ever heard of the APMF?
Nope.
So that stands for the Australian Pentecostal Ministers Fellowship.
Ah, okay.
So it'll be heads of all of the different denominations. I was representing to what was then called CLCI, Christian Life Churches
Oh, yeah, I've heard of
International.
that one. Yep.
It's no longer, but it was.
Ah, yep.
Okay, and they got a new name now. I think it's A2A. And so I was representing them. So all the different groups. So the head of the, what was AOG, the COC, the Full Gospel, well, you get the idea.
Yeah. Yep.
And what happened that there was a particular group that worked for uniting Catholic and Methodist group that came to APMF
Yes.
that wants to gather statistics of all the church denominations.
Yes.
So they wanted the heads of the denominations, including myself, to request of all the churches across Australia to do a census.
Yeah.
And in that census, they wanted the gender, the ages, income, nationality or ethnicity, what they liked, what they didn't like, da-da-da-da-da. And it was all gathered together, but it's good. They've been doing it for a few years. And of the head of our group at that time, the CLCI, I refused to do it.
Yeah.
Whereas all the others, the AOG, they all did it. I refused to do it. When I was asked why, even with the people there, I said, because what stops you selling the information?
Yeah, exactly.
And you know what they said?
What? Trust?
Nothing. No.
Just
They
trust
said,
us, Sean.
No, they said nothing stops
wow.
us selling the information. They were honest. Nothing stops us selling information.
Man.
So then I was like, well, who would you sell it to?
Yeah.
Well, they said, we don't know. Who buys it? So I refused to do it for several years.
Yeah, yeah.
So at the end of that time when John Howard won, that was the last election win, the Labor Party were frustrated or flabbergasted or concerned about the Conservative vote
Yeah.
because they want to make sure they won next time.
Yes, yes.
So guess who bought all the information?
Labor Party?
Yes.
Ah.
There you go. Or their feeders.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So they bought the information and they came up with a person that they thought could help build a bridge with Christians.
Yes. Yeah.
His name was
Kevin Rudd.
Kevin Rudd.
Yes.
So Kevin Rudd, I'd met him a couple of times in Canberra.
Yep.
And he, with a Liberal member, were running the prayer breakfast once a month.
Yeah, because
like this.
I don't know if he still is, but he was Christian at the time, right?
Everyone is a Christian when it's applicable.
Oh,
isn't it?
applicable. Yes,
Okay.
very true.
But the fact, we won't get into that subject,
Yeah.
but the fact of the matter is, so they decided that they would run him. Now, the Labor Party tolerated him but didn't really like him.
Yes.
But the Labor Party workers figured if they wanted to have an effect, they knew they wouldn't get all of the Conservatives, but a portion,
Yeah.
they could run him.
Yes.
So his deputy was
Gillard, right?
Julia Gillard,
Yeah.
who was very strong Labor
yeah.
union,
Yes,
right? Came
yes.
from the union.
Yes.
And they kind of knew that they ran her first up, that the wouldn't come through, it wouldn't work.
Yeah.
Okay. So they didn't do it. So they put up Kevin Rudd with Julia in that area.
Yeah.
And it worked.
Yes.
They got enough of the Conservative vote
Yeah, to be able to get through. Yeah.
to get through. And we all know what happened to Kevin 07. After
Backstabbed.
he got dropped,
Yeah.
Julia came in. Well, we won't go into all that stuff.
Yeah.
Now, let's go back to when Trump won in 2016.
Yes.
Okay. Who or what group of people annoyed them the most? The conservative voters.
Conservative vote. Yeah.
Right. So again, they found, and this is me talking here by what I've observed previously.
Yes.
They found a person. Now, I know that groups say, I would never support Biden, but compared to the rest of the Democratic personnel.
Oh yeah, Biden's like the least extreme.
They call him in the Democrats a centralist.
Yeah, centralist.
Okay. Now, I know we wouldn't say that.
Yeah.
But in that area. So the whole reason would be not to get the main believing conservatives, but to affect enough
Yeah.
to where to say, well, he's not like Kamala Harris, who's extreme on abortion, and not
Yeah,
like
yeah.
this one here.
He's
this
not
one
like
here.
Bernie, who's like real
Extreme
socialist,
right?
Kind
So
of
they
thing.
get him, right? And he's 80 something when
Yeah.
he runs, right? So if Trump ran, he'd be the same age as what Biden is now.
Yeah.
Okay. And you did the word if because I have no idea.
Yes.
And so they did that with Kamala Harris. Now, this is me speaking. So this is not a conspiracy theory. I'm telling you what I've experienced already.
Already, yeah.
And because they are so interconnected with the information, how it works. So the Democrats say to the Labor, how do we deal with this conservative bloc?
Yes.
Their response is, well, we dealt with it. Haven't had much success since in the area.
Yeah.
But we dealt with it then. This is how it worked.
Yes.
So that's why I hold to the view
Yes.
that he's a front man.
Yeah.
So there's another agenda, and that is to have someone like Kamala Harris, who's stronger socialist.
Yes.
Here. So now I know people are saying, hey, Biden won't last 1 year, he won't last 2 years. I don't know.
Who knows?
All I can say is he won't do 2 terms.
Yeah, no way.
So at worst, it's 1 term. He
One
won't
term.
do 2 terms.
Yeah.
The question is, how do they get him out?
To get Camilla in or someone else.
Well, I don't want to get involved in that because that'll be a conspiracy theory.
Uh-oh.
And I don't, even though we're kind of relating towards a conspiracy theory, I don't want to get caught in that area. So let me just open up with this, Mr. Ed.
Yes. Yes.
So why are you laughing, Erica? Because I said Mr. Ed? Yeah, okay.
He's a good talking horse. Good show.
A horse is a horse. Yeah. Why the long face? That gets out.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a photo to put up, which is President Trump's farewell. If we could put that photo up, please.
Yes.
President Trump's departure.
Yes.
Erica's getting instructions. No, Erica.
No, on
Erica
the live
is
feed,
a new.
Erica. Go live feed.
Erica.
Four.
Okay.
There we go. All right, here we go.
Erica, can I have a big shout out for Erica, please?
Yeah. Good work, Erica. Good work.
Okay, thanks, Erica.
Now, Sean. So I want you to look at this image.
Yes. Now, let's just say, first of all, what the image is.
Oh, yeah, what the image is. Yes, very true. So, a Trump's farewell.
Andrews Air Force Base.
It's
him leaving.
Yes, giving his final speech, farewell before he went off to Florida.
No military, no vice president, no senators.
Just him and his family.
They were all at the inauguration.
Yes.
Okay, so, this is all the supporters.
Now,
go ahead.
I want you to look specifically at these flags here. Now, if you were
first of all, they're American flags.
American flags, great, awesome.
Yep.
The flag represents, freedom, that kind of thing. Whatever the flag represents to you, it means different things. But if you look at the number of flags.
Well, what do I count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
If you look at them.
17
there's
flags.
17 flags.
Okay.
Now, if you look at the alphabet.
Yes,
and
A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N,
Somebody watch
O,
Sesame
P.
Street.
Oh, what's the 17th letter? Q. It's a sign, Sean. It's a sign. It's a secret message that we, the freedom seekers, the patriots, have now witnessed and noticed. This is a sign that Q lives on.
Okay.
That Q.
So let's just pause for a minute.
Yes.
We are talking about QAnon.
Yes, the QAnon movement.
The QAnon movement, which in case you didn't know, this is a particular movement that is or has been feeding information way back from October 2017.
Yeah. Yes.
And QAnon, just to give you a little bit of a background.
Yes.
Okay. Works in the area as bringing out cryptic messages.
The truth from inside the Trump administration.
Right. Through pro-Trump themes.
Yes.
Okay. So, for example, the QAnon supporters claimed when Mr. Mueller did his inquiry into the Russian interference in 2016 U.S. elections, that he was really an elaborate cover story for an investigation into pedophiles.
Yeah.
And when it concluded with no such bombshell revelation, the attention of conspiracy theorists drifted elsewhere. So it's all about all of these things with behind the scenes and everything else. So what happened is during this whole time, where Americans whom I know, and regrettably a lot of Australians whom I know, have been extremely caught up in these subliminal messages. Now, pause.
Yeah.
Subliminal message sounds like back in the 70s and 80s when I was a young fellow in the Lord, and all the conspiracy, Illuminati, and all these things was happening.
The end of the world and whatnot.
Well, also we had a big thing we had then was play songs backwards.
Oh yes, the hidden messages and backwards playing songs. Yes.
Yeah. So it was "Everyone Bites the Dust" and John Lennon's "Number 9" the White Album, and all these things, all of subliminal messages.
And wasn't it like Danger Zone was just trying to get people to join the Air Force or something like that?
Well, that was a Simpsons thing, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, that was the Simpsons episode. They talked about that. Yeah.
That's what you told me.
Yeah.
All right, but the fact of the matter is, so even here with Trump's farewell speech, which is number 45, at the time close enough to the inauguration of number 46, Joseph Biden.
Yes.
He stands there with 17 flags.
Yes, 17 flags.
And 17 flags represents the 17th letter of the alphabet, which his followers would know is Q.
Q.
And Q is their speaking.
Yes, that's their speakerhead. His full name's Q Clarence Patriot, but it's just Q because that's really long.
Well, Patriot, what's Clarence? I mean,
I don't know where the Clarence comes from.
Is there a message in the word Clarence?
I have no idea.
The only one I knew as a kid, there was a TV show called, in the 60s, called Clarence the Cross-Eyed Lion.
What the heck?
It's an old TV show.
Yeah, it sounds very old.
Shane liked it. I liked it. Then we can go on in August 2017. Can you put the next picture up? Oh, Erica did pretty good there, didn't she?
It's the letter. It's the number again, Sean.
Yes.
It's a message from Trump to single to us patriots.
Yes, and this was August 2017.
August 17, this photo was taken.
And President Trump was going on a 17-day holiday.
Yes.
Martha's Vineyard or something.
Yes.
Okay. And the people going on, the president shouldn't have a holiday.
Yes.
Didn't matter when Obama went on holidays, but only Trump's not allowed on holidays.
Yeah.
And he has this jersey called Trump 17.
Yes.
Well, of course, as soon as the 17 came out.
Oh, we have proof, everyone. See, it's another hidden message from Trump and Q. Patriots, stand back and stand by.
Now, some people who support this will feel like you're ridiculed. I'm going to tell you right now.
I'm not ridiculing. Now, why would I? This is the truth, Sean. I'm glad that we are finally putting the truth out there to the church. Because, the church needs to get behind Q and this truth.
Okay, first of all, he's kidding. We don't get behind him. Okay, he's taking the mickey. And I know there'll be people right now who'll be angry. So the email address is ed.dunamischurch.
Oh, yeah,
okay.
just give out the proper one, why don't you?
Now, this was a real photograph that was
Yeah,
used
it's a real photograph,
as a catch cry because it said on there, if Miss Erica, we can go back to it, please. It said on there, this is not a game, QAnon.pub. Means public. Okay?
Yeah, I think that's like a website where this was from.
Yeah. And so this was a sign for Q being behind there.
Yeah,
he's
more
supposed
proof.
to be an insider.
Yeah.
That has special information that he's leaking out to people. Now,
Yes.
this was August 2017, so it was Jersey 2017.
Yeah, that's why there's most likely a 17. I don't think this is a hidden message. It's this
Use
2017.
the word think, okay?
Okay,
I'm going to say, I know there was not a hidden message.
That's better.
And the QAnon started in October 2017.
Yep.
Okay, so it's a couple months after this, October 2017,
Yes.
where these things were going on.
Yeah.
All right. It's about General Flynn being involved secretly for an uprising to stop the inauguration and all these sorts of things.
Yes.
Now, I don't want to get, well, I've got to be careful with this information because people believe it and I still want them to be friends.
Yes.
Okay. But on the 14th of January, can you put this photo up for me, the next one?
This one?
Yeah. On
Yes.
the 14th of January, this was posted in quite a few of these people's Facebook pages. And this was 16 days before.
Yes, 16 days before.
Yeah, this is the 40th of January.
Oh, yes.
Which was 6 days before. Sorry, 6 days before
Yes. The inauguration?
the inauguration.
Yes.
And this was what they were posting because I saw it. And it says there, the headings was, this explains why she has been missing in action the last 3 days.
Yes.
So they brought out this picture, which has been shopped,
Yeah.
that Nancy Pelosi is in handcuffs by the FBI.
Yeah.
And the other image is supposed to be President Barack Obama also in handcuffs,
Yeah.
being arrested. Now, I'm not making this up because I actually went to the person's
Who's been
page.
sharing this?
Yes. And this is what they had in the area.
Yes.
Now, I had trouble finding it again because a big thing, censor thing on it saying, this is not factual.
Yeah, fake news.
So fake, yeah. So I had to go underneath it to get it.
Yeah.
But they have it here. Now, I know there are people out there right now
Yes.
who probably might think, what does it matter? It's just a whole lot of rubbish. You know, who really cares?
Yeah.
Okay, and good on you.
Yes.
I mean, good on you. Because I'm one of those people too who are like, oh, I'm not really into this.
Yes.
But regrettably, there are people who are right into it.
Yeah, right crazy into it.
Right into it. So much so that they have even posted right now, if I get it right, this is the latest stuff they've been posting, okay? They believe that right now, because President Trump had signed the Insurrection Act while he was in the White House, this was a secret thing that he had signed in the secret military base so that they could overthrow the government,
Yeah.
okay, that he will be able to get back in power supposedly by March.
Yeah.
So this group believes
Yep.
that by March, he'll get back into power.
Back into power and Biden will be arrested.
Okay. That the government right now is not really in power. And it gets pretty bad because, and I'm reading you directly what they say,
Yes.
Okay. And you have to understand that I got to be sensitive in these areas because I've gotten this from people who believe it.
Yes.
Okay. Trump, they believe this. Trump is fully backed and controlled by Jews. And once he's back in the White House, there will be a global financial reset and all debt, and I'm reading it directly, and all debt will be wiped, therefore nullifying any powerful large corporations like the Rockefellers.
Yes.
Now let me tell you, the stories about Rockefellers and all these things have been going on, Ed, since I was a youngster.
Even before you were born.
The first conspiracy thing I ever read was an author called Stan Deyo, D-E-Y-O.
Yes.
And we shared about this on the End Times and all of those things. And this is not new. I know the stories are different, but it's not new.
Yeah.
I mean, when Mikhail Gorbachev, you ever heard of Mikhail Gorbachev?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And he was the president dictator of what was then called the USSR.
Yes.
Okay. And he had a big birthmark on his forehead.
Yes, the mark of the beast.
And so the conspiracy was that it was the mark of the beast. He was the beast.
Yes,
the mark of the beast. Okay, there. And then when President Reagan became president, because his name Ronald is R-O-N-A-L-D, 6 letters.
6 letters.
Wilson,
Yep,
6
letters.
letters. Reagan, 6 letters.
Yeah.
That he had the mark 666.
Yeah.
Margaret Thatcher, the Iron Lady, was the Bush. George H. Bush, George W.'s father, was the area. So graduate of Robert School. So these things have been going forever. Forever. And they can go on and on and on forever. And you just need to understand that these conspiracy things aren't new. But what concerns me is that there is a generation of people who this is their first conspiracy get involved in thing.
Yes.
But for those of us who've been around longer, those of us meaning none of you here are old enough, only me, this is like a reader. They've changed some of the content, but it's the same thing.
Yeah.
And what concerns me is the number of pastors and people
and
who
Christians
have been so strongly involved. Now I know that there will be people who really won't like me already even more. Okay. And, to be frank with you, that's okay.
Yeah.
If that's the way they want to go. But it's just so sad about how this keeps going on and on and on. And I do get so concerned for the Christians who are so involved in this.
Yes.
And the reason why I'm bringing it up, Ed, is because that terrible thing that happened at Capitol Hill.
Oh, yes.
After the Trump rally. To me, wasn't so much what Trump alluded to or led to in his words, but rather a lot of it has to do with this
kind of stuff, the
Q
hysteria.
QAnon.
Yeah.
Okay. And a lot of this stuff is so bad and how it affects Christians.
Yeah, big time.
Christians, I believe, are the biggest gullible
suckers.
Okay, suckers. I've listened to interviews of con men.
Yeah.
Because as a pastor, I'm always keep my eye open for con men, and there's always people around, and people don't realize how many people have tried to come in this church, where then other churches, and I try to vet them out and deal with it.
Yes.
And they say that Christians are the easiest to con out of money.
Yeah.
Because they are so trusting.
Yes.
And they are so forgiving.
Yeah.
And because they're so trusting and forgiving, it's easy to separate their money.
Yes. Big time.
Now, I read I'm reading a particular book. It's not too big, about 418 pages, and it's called Your MBA in Business, Master of Business. Okay?
Oh, okay.
And it's not about you going to university, but this particular book, right?
Yeah.
And it has lots of quotes.
Yes.
And interesting book. I almost finished it. And I can't remember the quote exactly for words, unless Eric can type it up there to find it. But there's a quote by an American, Benjamin Franklin.
Yeah.
And it kind of went like this, roughly. And maybe Eric can find the exact quote. It kind of like this. It said, spend your money on your mind.
Oh, kind of like invest in yourself.
On your mind.
Yeah.
That way no one can steal it from you or separate it from you.
Oh, okay.
In other words, it was work on knowledge. Because spend your money on educating yourself and being more knowledgeable.
Yeah.
Because in spending money on being more knowledgeable and educated, you will be able to understand the times and understand the deceit that people want to bring into you.
Brainwashing.
Well, you say brainwashing, but I'm just talking about entrapment, or not entrapment, but trying to defraud us and do that area.
Yes.
So that's what I saw there. So that's what happens. So it was like, rather spend your money on knowledge because that can't be stolen from you.
Yeah.
You know, on your mind. So that's what I was talking about.
Yes.
But it's quite interesting. Erica can't quite find it, and who knows if authors that works, but it's from a book called MBA.
Yeah.
So there's a quote in that area there.
Yes.
But it goes in that area there. So he's saying there, spend your money that you can put in your brain
Yeah.
so that no one can steal it from you. They can steal your money, but they can't steal the knowledge you learned.
Yes.
So therefore, when these sort of things come up,
Yeah, like QAnon. Yes.
like QAnon,
Yes.
come up, you will be able to know truth,
Yes.
and that truth will be able to steer you in the right way.
Yes.
Like a couple of years ago, someone I knew was trying to solicit a large amount of money from me.
Mm.
It happens. Well, it was a large amount of money to me. It was tens and tens of thousands. And they were telling me they're in dire straits.
Mm.
And they weren't coming to this church at that time. And they had said that we're good for it. We'll pay you back in 2 weeks because we have a contract on this particular building.
Mm.
And blah, blah, blah. So when I look at it, have you ever watched this game? There's a particular TV program that is terrible, but if I get to record it, watch it tonight. It's called Tipping Zone.
No, I haven't heard
It's
of
an
it.
English thing. It's the corniest, stupidest game I think they have. No, seriously. But it sucked me in.
Uh-oh.
They have these sliding things that push coins over the board, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And you got to answer these questions.
Yes.
Okay. And answering these questions allow you to go up. Right?
Yes.
But what happens with some of these questions, and I've seen other shows, is that they don't know the answer.
Yeah.
So what they try to do is logically think of the words to find out what would be the logical answer.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
they're giving you three choices.
Yes.
They have no idea what the answer is, but the smart ones will try and think out what seems most logical or what comes towards it.
Yeah.
And they work it out there by elimination rather than just spontaneous picking a wild word. Right? So it's quite, and those who do that don't always when they don't know, but around 70% of them do.
Mm-hmm.
So I looked at this statement and I thought, well, hang on a minute. If they are in dire straits, needing this large sum of money, and they'll have the money in 2 weeks,
Yeah.
and then they're offering me like 12% interest.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's an old saying, Ed, if something sounds too good to be true,
It's too good to be true.
it's too good to be true. So then my response was, well, if in 2 weeks you have this large sum of money, when you can pay back everything plus, I don't see how your creditors would not be patient if you showed them the signed contract,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So if you owed me a large sum of money,
Yes.
okay, and you had a contract on a property that would pay it all back plus,
Yeah.
and you could show me the contract,
Yep.
and it says settlement 2 weeks, I'd be going, no problem.
Yeah.
So as I looked at it logically to remove myself from the emotional request, I said, well, that doesn't make sense. Let me have the name of your real estate to talk to, and let me talk to your debts.
Yes. Yes. Oh, and they didn't give it anything.
Well, let's just say I got called a few names,
Yep.
okay? And it went on for over an hour, text messaging,
Man.
which only validated it wasn't true.
Yeah. It was
No,
a ruse.
I'm glad I didn't do it because
Yeah.
they had done other things
Yep. Yep.
and done things. But what I'm trying to say is that Christians are so susceptible towards being deceived or conned
Yes.
because we are taught to be kind, we are taught to be forgiving, we're taught to be generous, we're taught to be believing. Now, I don't want us to change those beautiful purities about us because that's what makes us unique.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we need to be having knowledge so that we can handle the times.
Yes.
And the Bible says, for lack of knowledge, my people perish.
Uh-oh.
Right?
Perish, yeah.
Yes, that's very good, Ed. For lack of knowledge. And we need to be... So I find that Christians are getting caught up into this vacuum of things like this QAnon and who knows what else.
Flat Earth.
Just take it easy there. I know people call that one too, okay? But I mean, believe it or not, I know people who believe the earth is flat.
We'll go into a different episode.
Yeah, another episode. Maybe we'll call them in.
Yeah.
Okay. I do know a couple.
Yeah.
I don't think they're talking to me as it is right now,
no.
so I just don't want to make it worse. Thank you for bringing that subject up.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yes. Anyhow.
Yes.
Ed.
I've derailed the train of thought.
To me, the only way to overcome such things is knowledge.
Yeah. Well, I even find this whole idea even a little bit like ludicrous. Like even if everything that this Q has been posted, everything he is saying or she, even if it was true, like why does it matter? I mean, we keep bringing this up every week. What Denise said when she preached. It doesn't matter how big the storm is. Tell the storm how big God is.
Right.
Like it doesn't matter like about all these crazy, ridiculous, crazy things that are happening. Like God's bigger than this.
Yes.
It doesn't matter that, oh man, we got to get Trump back in office. Dude, it doesn't matter who's in charge, who's in power. If you're a believer of this faith, your faith, God is bigger than this, is what I'm trying to get at. Like it just rattles my mind sometimes.
Well, what rattles my mind is that people would dispute the media, and I agree that there is mistruths in media.
Massive mistruths in media. All fake news. All of it.
I prescribe to about 4 different news outlets.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I read all different 4.
And that's good. It's better than just getting from one source. It's good to get multiple.
Well, that's just right.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a conservative area.
Yes.
Okay. And sometimes they are rather extreme on conservative areas.
Yeah.
I have some liberal areas I read. I don't read too much of those because it drives me nuts. Then I have other groups I think they're middle of the road. But I have 4 different sources.
Yeah, I'm the same. I have a extreme left and right and a couple in the middle.
And I try to read those areas just to somehow find a balance.
Yeah, to find where the truth is.
And then after I read the 4 areas, then it's my opinion.
Yeah, exactly. Then now you're more more informed.
But then you might have to read someone else's because it's my opinion.
Yeah.
Okay. But the issue is that as Christians, I'm concerned about how many people are damaging other Christians.
Yeah.
By sending this material out.
Yeah.
And by promoting it.
Yes.
And I've lost. Well, I would say I lost friends. I read another quote, and it said this. It said, we think we have lots of friends, but we have very few friends.
Yeah.
But we have a lot of associates or associations.
Yeah, acquaintances.
That's a better word, yeah. But we have a lot of acquaintances.
Yeah.
And the problem is that we think the acquaintances are our friends.
Yeah.
But they're not.
They're not.
And we think, I've lost this friend after so many years. Well, there's so many years, they weren't your friends, they were your acquaintances.
Acquaintances, yeah.
Because I've had happen. I thought people were really my friends.
Yeah.
And, things happen. We disagreed, things happened. And then it was like, I'm cut off.
Yeah.
Even for a little while, I was blocked.
Oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
And that happens. And you go like, well, obviously we weren't friends.
Exactly.
We weren't acquainted. And praise God for acquaintances, though. I mean, because they do enrich my life, they do bless my life.
Yes.
But they weren't friends.
Yeah.
Because friends stick by you.
Exactly like glue.
Yeah, I mean, they might get upset, but they're still your friends.
Still your friends, yeah.
Yeah. And it's quite interesting. I don't mean it to be negative, but I just mean it as a way to handle life.
Yes.
Someone said, how do I handle, this friend won't talk to me? I said, well, here's the tough fact. They were never your friend. They were an acquaintance. And you've been enriched by it, you've been blessed by it, and it's parted, but they were never your friend.
Yeah, exactly.
And there are people that I thought were my friend, and they weren't my friend. They were acquaintances. And I thank God for them.
Yeah.
But when they say, that's it, then you go like, well, they never were friends.
Yes.
And that's what happens. It's a tragic story, but it happens. I mean, like you take family.
Yeah.
Family members can do the absolute worst things to you.
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, they can do things that you would just, you'd almost think they could get arrested for it.
Yeah.
Seriously. Maybe they could.
Yeah, yeah.
But somehow, because you're family, you still work out how to get along.
Yeah, how to mend it. Yeah.
So Christmas might be a little tense.
Yes.
And you thank the Lord it's only 2 hours.
Yeah.
But because it's family, you work it out.
Yeah.
But what happens in the body of Christ, Ed? In the body of Christ, they say, I'm your brother, I'm your sister.
Yeah.
I love you in the Lord. 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. But then all of a sudden, they may feel you did something or they did something. And all of a sudden, it's to where you're blocked, you're cut off,
Yep.
story said, and there's no Christmas reunion.
Yes.
There's no birthday, there's nothing.
Yeah.
Just cut off. So the way to handle it, and I'm saying this in the right way, is understand that it wasn't a friend, it was an acquaintance.
Acquaintance, yeah.
An acquaintance, I needed, and thank the Lord for acquaintances, but that's what happens in life. It comes about that way.
Yes. Even if you believe this stuff, this QAnon, flat earth, whatever, it's not worth ruining friendships over. You trying to push this on the people who don't want to hear it, don't want to believe it. It's not worth losing friends over this, even if you might be revealing them the truth. It's not worth it.
Yeah, and you know, because the big thing for us right now, I suppose, too, is the vaccine or the anti-vaccine.
Oh, yes, the vaccine. The 5G rays will infuse with the vaccine and mind control activates.
Well, I know of churches where people have said to the pastor, not here, if you don't show this video of anti-vaccine, or if you don't watch it, I'm leaving your church.
Yeah.
Well, my view is if that's the only reason why you're in church, it's best you go.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you're not able to get along.
Yeah.
And here's the issue. They will believe this video
Yeah.
without any real support, rather than say, it's true, because I said it.
Yeah.
And that's what's going about the media. There are media at times that we won't believe, but you'll see these posts, which straight away your spidey senses,
Yeah.
you like that one?
Yeah.
Spidey senses? Okay. Are alert, going like, something's not quite right.
Yeah.
But we believe it 100%.
Yeah.
So how do you not know that this isn't China?
Oh, yeah.
How do you not know that this isn't Russia?
Is Russia.
How do you not know this isn't Iran?
Yeah. Trying to infiltrate us.
Well, they did a good job, didn't they?
Yeah.
They did a good job already with
Yeah.
the election time.
yeah, election time,
what do you call it? The being in the Senate when they had the riot.
Oh,
you know?
yeah. It was Russia that allowed the
Well,
QAnon
it caused the riot, which is still having
Yeah.
ramifications on Trump and
Yes.
still causing disarray between the parties.
Yeah.
So if the whole idea of it, if
Yeah.
was to cause dysfunction, was to cause anarchy, was to cause disunity,
Yeah.
they succeeded.
They succeeded.
They succeeded. They succeeded. That's the trouble. That's the problem, Ed. That's what I see in that whole situation.
Yes.
And that's what's so very, very sad.
Yes. So for me, when it comes to all this Q stuff, conspiracy theory stuff, it never gets to me. And it's because of this simple thing I learned while I was surprisingly at film school. Now, let me ask you something, Sean. Okay. When you read books and you watch movies, TV shows, why do you do it?
Well, do I take each one separately?
Yeah, why do you read books?
Okay, so going back in around about 2007.
Yes.
Do I have to give the short answer? Or
Yeah, just give a short, I don't know, just why do you read it? I mean,
well, to increase my knowledge.
Yep.
To strengthen me personally by biographies.
Yes.
To let me know that what I'm going through is not unique.
Yep.
That I'll read books in regards to subjects or feelings I go through.
Yes.
So hopefully it will build me, encourage me, strengthen me.
Yes.
And empower me through knowledge.
Yeah, so like a self-improvement. So what about TV shows? Like, why do you watch TV shows and movies?
Well, 90% of the TV shows I watch would not be documentaries.
Yeah.
So the 10% that would be documentaries would be for the same reason.
Yeah, information, self-growth.
But the 90% is just to chill out, relax, escape.
Oh, escapism.
Yes.
Now, why would we want to escape into a different world, the cinema or the TV show might cause? Because life's really boring. Okay? Life is boring. So when we see these things like Q and sessions, it's like, oh, yes, this is just like that TV show. Or like, here's the proof, guys.
24 hours.
Yeah, 24 hours. Like, here's the proof, guys. 17 flags. It's a secret message. We got to get on this. No, life's boring. Life is so boring.
Can we say mundane,
routine. Like anything that's out of the ordinary has to be this like
extraordinary.
I've spotted something the simulation didn't want me to see. I have to share it with everyone. No, life's mundane. It's boring. You wake up, you go to work, you come back, you eat food, you go to the toilet, you sleep.
Okay, a little bit too much.
A little bit too much. What I'm trying to say is, like, it's cool that, they have these thought experiments to what ifs, that kind of stuff. But, like, life's boring. Like, yeah, I'm sure.
I don't feel inspired when you tell me life's boring.
Well, it's like the reason why this stuff never gets to me is because real life's not this complicated. Like, we look at Genesis.
Yes.
It is the most simplest explanation, and you
Okay.
can go to Answer in Genesis. The first 17 books explains
Yes.
almost everything.
Yeah.
It's the most simplest explanation
chapters.
of of creation, and yet people still it doesn't go into enough detail. It mustn't be true. Like
It couldn't have been
It couldn't
6 days and then rest.
exactly
Every day has to be 1,000 years.
1,000 years representing this, blah 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 blah. But it's like no, it's that simple. But we humans think it's not. It doesn't explain enough. What about with carbon-based life forms? Where's the part where God created carbon? Like it's like, and I understand. Like it's infuriating a little bit.
Well, let me just speak from a biblical context.
Yeah, please. I'm just
The reason why we should be routine and disciplined area is because in those ordinary things, God can do something exponential.
exactly.
And the particular person that comes to my mind, and this is why people say I do too much reading the Bible. How do I get anything? Well, it's because of such times as this with Ed, to where something will come to mind.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking of a young man,
Yes.
and his life is a life of routine.
Yeah.
He lives on a farm. They're growing wheat or whatever. And it is the time to plow the field.
Yeah.
And he would get up the morning as he would in this season. He'd have his breakfast.
Yes.
He'd go out. He would get the ox.
Yeah.
He would yoke the ox. He would get the plow.
Yeah.
And his father would to assign to him a field that needed to be tilled and broken so that
Yep.
seed could be planted. So he did it this day, the next day, and the next day, and the next day, as each season demanded of him to do certain things towards them to be able to live.
Yeah.
But on this one particular day, and remember, he's been faithful.
Yeah.
He's faithful to his father. He's faithful to his mother. He's faithful to the home. It's a routine, and the routine can seem boring. The routine can be like, what's happening? Nothing's happening.
Yeah.
But on this particular day, Ed, this young man is out doing what he would do each morning in this season of the year, getting up, grabbing the ox, putting the yoke on the ox, putting the plow on it, started tilling the field.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, this man comes behind,
Oh.
taps him on the shoulder.
Yes.
When he turns around, he's a very hairy man. Almost where you get scared.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It's Bigfoot.
And I suppose you might say that. And his clothes are like out of camel skin
Oh, okay.
with a belt.
Yeah.
And he has a reputation.
Oh.
He has a reputation of being God's man,
Oh.
of having an incredible prophetic voice.
Yeah.
This man is called Elijah.
Ah.
And the young man he tapped was called Elisha.
Ah.
And all of a sudden, the ordinary routine of the day that he'd done for years
Yeah.
was about to change.
Yes.
So much so, Ed, that he sacrificed the oxen.
Yeah.
Too bad for Dad. Okay? And he burnt the plow on the altar.
Yeah.
And he followed the man of God.
Mm.
So we should learn not to take the routine of life for granted.
Yeah.
Because it's in your discipline of routine. It's in your discipline, which seems to be the same thing each morning,
Yes.
The same cup of coffee, the same drive to work, the same work area. And it's so easy to become bored or so easy to lose meaning in it. But if you're working with God, God can happen. Now, it happened for me for a period of 2 years.
Yes.
I'm certainly no Elisha. How old was I? I was 16 and 17.
Yeah.
So for 2 years, 16, 17, going into 18, I worked at a place as a glazer.
Yeah, glazer, yeah.
Yeah, not a grazer, not cattle, but glass.
Yes.
You know, cutting glass, getting stitched up glass, and working this place.
Yes.
And the work, Ed, was very mundane.
Yes.
I'd have to be at work by 7. We'd work through to 3:30, and the work was mundane.
Yeah.
Right? The only thing that changed is where I lived.
Oh, okay.
I started living with my mom, then I lived at this address and this address, 3 or 4 different addresses.
Yep.
And the work was very routine. It was in Moss Street
Oh, Moss Street, yes.
in Slacks Creek.
Yeah.
It was called S&C Aluminium, Strachan and Coles.
Okay.
That made those. So I worked there.
Yes.
And the work was so routine that I didn't have to think. It's one of those jobs where you don't have to think.
Ah, yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, you just do it.
You just do it.
Yeah.
Right? And what would happen, Ed, I would, I don't know, daydream.
Yeah.
And I would daydream about what I could do for God.
Yes.
I would daydream.
Yes.
And then when they'd offer me extra work, I didn't want to do it because I was doing voluntary work at the church.
Yeah.
So I did the job because it met my needs.
Yeah.
But it wasn't my heart's passion. And when other people would jump at the extra hours, I said, I don't want it.
Yeah.
Now, could I have done it with the money? Sure. But I was busy serving and doing other things.
Yes.
I was doing a small group. I was following up people. I was doing lots of stuff. So unbeknownst to me, after 2 years, the youth pastor at that time, who was Rod Clemenock that we had here.
Yes.
Right. He rings me up and says, hey, after work, could you pop up and see me? So I get up there by 4 o'clock.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I get up there and I said, yeah, sure. You know, Rod, what can I do for you? He said, well, we've been watching you these last 2 years in your routines.
Yeah.
And we want to offer you a full-time job and a scholarship in the Bible school to do your bachelor's degree in ministries theology.
Yes.
And so I took it. And that was when I was 18 and a half. Well, I'm 58 now.
Yes.
So it's coming up. June will be 40 years I've been in the ministry.
Oh, yeah, wow.
Okay, full-time.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something, Ed.
Yes.
That was mundane routine. Now, it was only 2 years, but mundane routine.
Yeah.
Where it was like I had the most boring job out.
Yes.
But I thank God I had a job.
Yeah.
I did my job. They liked me. When I left, I had other places wanted me to work there, and the other place gave me more money to stay there. So I had some opportunities just in glass, right?
Yeah.
But the fact, but it wasn't my idea.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is that even though it wasn't something I really enjoyed, Ed, and even though it wasn't something I found there, I learned to rejoice in the routine,
Yes.
in the discipline, in the mundane,
Yes.
keeping my heart close to God in the Word,
Yeah.
and it paved the way for promotion.
Promotion, yeah.
God rewards the faithful.
Yes.
And I'm only mentioning this because I think it's a good follow-up to what you were saying,
Yes.
that life can be very
Mundane, boring.
right. But it's how we handle that. We don't have to go into these
Conspiracies.
conspiracy theories
Yeah.
to spice life up.
Yes.
But we can rest in God and rest in who we are in God and keep going in God. And then God can do something what I call exponential.
Exactly.
But it has to do with our way that we handle ourselves.
Yeah. Instead of spending an hour looking up conspiracies, why not spend an hour reading the Word? There's probably going to be a lot more answers in that.
That's a good switch there, Erica. Maybe you want to say that again, then.
Yeah, like, look, if I understand why this type of stuff appears online, and it's because it's pretty scary out there sometimes. I'm not saying that should dictate who we are and what all of our actions are surrounded or influenced by, it can be pretty scary out there. There's a lot of crazy things. Like there was that car crash that happened last night where 2 people died.
And she was pregnant.
And she was pregnant.
She was 31. He was 37.
Yeah, so 3 deaths. Like that's crazy.
By a 17-year-old who I think is unlicensed in a stolen car.
Stolen car, yeah.
Who, in rage, went to smash into a truck.
Yeah.
Rolled the 4-wheel drive over on top of these 2 people walking their dog.
Yeah.
Which killed them and their unborn baby.
Yeah, which is insane. And that's crazy. But you will not find the answers and the peace you're seeking in this type of stuff like QAnon. You will not find it. You will only find the peace you are seeking by meditating in the Word.
Yeah. And do you think maybe sometimes it really links into what you were saying, that maybe Christians are finding their life boring. They're finding their life mundane. They're finding life without meaning. See, what got me through, Ed, during those couple of years was that work wasn't my definition of life. I would be then going and doing other things, following up people and doing small groups and doing the area unpaid for. Like I hear people say, I've served for so long, when the door comes. Well, you know, I didn't actually think the door would open.
Yeah.
No, I daydreamed and prayed. I didn't actually think.
Yeah.
I thought that unless I was born in a home with influence, unless I had, well, I'm serious. I'm sure people think like that too. Unless I was born with a Bible spoon in my mouth, not a silver spoon, unless my parents had the thing here. And yeah, seriously, my parents, my mum's the best.
Yes, my mum too.
Yeah. Praise God for mums.
Yeah.
Right? My dad needed a bit of work.
Yes.
Okay. But because of that area, I felt that in the church at that time that we may have been kind of blacklisted because no, I'm serious in those days, because of the behavior of my father and his violence and his carrying on, that and because people profile you and make a preconceive how you are and not.
Assumptions and stuff, yeah.
And I thank God for the youth pastor who could see something in me where others couldn't.
Yeah.
I mean, it reminds me of another story. David.
Let's go.
David.
Yeah.
Okay. When the prophet Samuel came and he asked Jesse, the father, for his sons, he brought in all his sons but David.
Ah.
He left them in the field.
Yep.
Now, some believe that's because he was illegitimate. Jesse was the father, but the mother was somebody else, as it did happen. So they believed that was it. And when the man of God saw the oldest boy, he said, surely this is him.
Yeah.
But God said no. And that's why in the end, when he went through all of the 7 sons, he says, is there anyone else? Well, there's David.
Yeah.
You know, he's like an outdoorsy type of person. There's David. But in the mundane of him over those years looking after the sheep, where his brothers did the thing by joining the king's army, a new King Saul, and doing all those great things, he was out looking after sheep. So he lived in the field.
Yeah.
He's like a sheepdog.
Yeah, yeah.
That's how little life meant. Like a sheepdog. So in the summer, he's living in the fields.
Yeah.
Okay? In the mundane of life. And what happened in that mundane time, Ed, when he's looking after the sheep?
He got rewarded.
But what happened in the mundane of life looking after the sheep?
Well, he got attacked? I'm sorry, I don't know this story very well, sorry.
Ed, remember he said, God, you delivered me from the paw of the bear and from the mouth of a lion.
Yeah.
So there was a couple occasions we read when the mundane looking after the sheep, there were tests.
Ah, yeah, yeah.
There was a bear that came to kill the sheep.
Yep.
He put his life in the way for a sheep.
Oh, wow.
Okay?
Yes.
He says, you delivered me from the paw of a bear.
Yep.
A lion came to devour a sheep. He put his life on the line to save that sheep.
Yeah.
Okay? So he did some rather radical things in the mundane line of life that would open up a door to where he'd go and face a Goliath.
Ah, yes.
Where others would be intimidated, but he wasn't, because he drew not upon his training with the armies, but he drew upon his being alone in the mundane of life, looking after the woolies.
Yeah.
And that equipped them to be able to handle life's giants.
Yes.
So if you don't learn to handle the mundane correctly in God, when you face a giant, like a party coming in you don't want, instead of you knowing how to handle it logically and spiritually, You handle it emotionally or through other people's opinions or by being manipulated. See, I honestly believe, Ed, that people are being, have been, and continue to be manipulated by this source.
Yes.
That I would boldly declare is not of God,
Yep.
is not Christian.
Yeah.
They are boldly listening to it. And it causes a lot of problems.
Yeah.
A lot of problems.
Yeah. Do you feel peace reading any of this stuff? I don't feel peace reading any of it.
But you know what makes it worse, Ed? Even when it doesn't happen,
Yeah.
this is how dumb people are. They go like, well, in March,
Yeah.
he's coming back. In
Yeah.
March,
Just you wait till March.
you wait till March.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You wait. You wait and see.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how many steak dinners I'm owed right now.
You're gonna be eating well.
And they go like, the powers of darkness intervened. Now, all of a sudden, as Christians, we're saying that the powers of the devil have more strength over God's will and destiny
Yeah.
than God.
Than God.
So do we not believe in the Bible? Because Matthew 28, verse 18, and this is after Jesus is resurrected.
Yep.
And Jesus says, all, not some, all power and authority has been given unto me.
Yes.
Go ye therefore, Old King James, okay, and teach.
Yeah.
But all power, not some. And
Yes,
Jesus,
all.
I've given it to you.
Yeah.
So the devil has not usurped God's plan. The devil has not blocked it.
Yeah.
Well, the prophecy is right, but the devil stepped in. This is baloney. This is men talking.
Exactly.
It's not the word of God. And we've got to learn to put our faith in God.
In God.
And that's why if a man of God does get it wrong,
Yeah.
and that's why if a church does get it wrong, or a fellow brother or sister does get it wrong, we don't stumble because our faith wasn't in them. And if you stumble because of these things, if you stumble because it didn't work out,
Yeah.
well, the Bible says in Proverbs 24, if you faint in the day of
Reckoning?
adversity,
Adversity, sorry.
your faith is
Weak.
or small.
Small.
Okay?
Yeah.
And this is why we need to be different. I know I put you on the spot, Ed. I'm sorry, okay? But I just get carried away. Since these scriptures come to my mind,
Yeah.
do you know why my scriptures come to my mind? Because I continuously, every day, and I
Read?
won't say how much,
Yeah.
I read large portions of the Bible every day,
Yeah.
systematically,
Yes.
continuously, and the critics say, you're not getting anything from it. Well, let me tell you what I get. I get the ability to fill myself with the word every day of every week of every year,
Yep.
so that in these times, like talking to you,
Yep.
right, scriptures come to mind. It's
Yep.
always come to mind. Like, it's not on notes here.
Yeah.
We've got no notes. Talk about the mundane, I think of Elisha.
Yeah.
Okay? We think of these areas, we think of scriptures, and that's what carries us through. And when you don't put yourself in God's word, Ed, then you are susceptible to people's words.
Yep.
You're susceptible to people's opinions, and you're susceptible to this rubbish
Yeah.
that's out there.
Exactly. Well said,
This
Sean.
is Sean Hansen, and this is my opinion.
Yeah.
Ed, say something nice right now.
Oh, say something nice. Well, I think we've had a good conversation.
Should I recommend a book?
Yeah, why not? Why don't you recommend a book just in the last couple of minutes?
So this is a book I read quite a while ago, okay? And it's a biography, and I'd strongly recommend it. And it's about a guy called Sundar Singh. Now, this particular group, you see, it's called Christian Heroes Then and Now.
Yes.
This is like grade 10 level reading. So it's really...
Like 10 out of 10 or like 10 out of
grade
100?
10 in school.
Oh, year
level.
10.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Year 10.
Okay.
And they're very simple.
Yes.
These are actually Janet and Jeff Benj. They are New Zealanders who live in America through YWAM.
Yes.
And they must have, I have every book they do, or try to keep up to date, right? Don't we, Erica? And there's biographies. And I haven't read one for a while because right now I've got to find more. But they have Christians, non-Christians. But this Sundar Singh, he was born in 1889 and died in 1929 when he was 40.
Yep.
So he belonged to the Sikh areas.
Oh, okay.
Okay, in India.
Yep.
Where the
Yeah.
And the word Sundar means holy or holy man, and Singh, well, anybody who's a Sikh all has the same last name, Singh, and it means lion.
Holy lion?
Well, no, Sunda is holy.
Yeah.
He's a priest.
Yep.
Okay. But they all have the last name Singh, lion. So lion.
Ah.
And he got converted as a little young boy, and he was almost killed several times, and eventually was killed.
Yeah.
Okay. But if you want to read, it's called Footprints Over the Mountains. If you want to read a biography, can you put that book back up again for me, please, Erica? If you want something that stirs your heart, you can find this through online, Google it. But it's a good book that will encourage you. Sundar Singh, Footprints Over the Mountain. I first read this book in 7th of January, 2014.
Oh, wow.
So
nice.
7 years ago. And that's a good book to encourage you and strengthen you up.
Do you know what I read in year 10? Pride and Prejudice.
And what did you get from that?
Oh, I didn't read the book very well. I watched the TV show.
Okay.
I'm not very good at reading. I'm trying to improve.
You can.
I'm not. At the time I wasn't very good at reading, but now I'm improving.
Yeah,
I'm reading.
Yes,
I'm doing it.
That's good. Increase our knowledge.
Yes.
Spend money, as Benjamin Franklin said. Okay. In your mind.
Invest in yourself. Yeah.
And no one can steal that from you like your bought coins. So that's what's really important. Thank you for tuning in, whether directly or whether it be
replaying this later.
On.
Thank you for joining.
And if we have helped you, that's great. If you're angry with us, just show us grace. Amen. Just as we have been showing you incredible grace by giving us all this information.
It's good to hear different opinions. Just remember that. It's always good to hear differing opinions.
And this is Ed and Sean's opinion.
Yeah.
Take it or leave it.
Exactly.
Believe it or not.
Yeah.
God bless you. We love you.
Bye, everyone.